The views and opinions expressed on Unlock Your Wealth Radio are those of the host, guests, and callers only and are not necessarily the views of Unlock Your Wealth Radio, Heather Wagenhals, or Success Publishing International.
More willpower than a barefoot woman at a shoe sale, able to stretch a single paycheck for an entire month. Makes money concepts easier than third-grade math. Introducing your purveyor of prosperity, Heather Wagenhals.
Work all day, stress all night. Take your mind off your money and focus on your life. Money don't matter or the stuff it bought. It's the way you think, not what you've got, yeah.
Unlock Your Wealth Radio starts now. Get your money mind right.
All right.
Yay! Welcome to Unlock Your Wealth Radio. This segment of Unlock Your Wealth Radio is sponsored in part by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at unlockyourwealthradio.com/free book and click on the link to over 150,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Want my book for free? Just sign up today and choose Yes You Can 2.0, the 7 elements for self-empowerment, and you are dialed in, my friend.
Wow.
Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm Heather Wagenhals, your hostess with the Financial Mostest, flanked by the maestro of Moolah, Michael Terry.
Hey, folks.
And we will help you get your money mind right on today's episode with the following great features. First off, Moolah word of the day has to do with public offerings and securities. And then we also have our key this week, which is...
Become a voracious reader.
Our final key, yes. And then we also have a very special guest returning, Dr. Joel Wade, the former protege of the late Nathaniel Brandon, whom I love and adore. And he is going to be giving us our happiness update as we talk about mastering happiness and how it relates to health and wealth and all of that good stuff. So... we've got a great show ripe with good stuff for you today. So
let's get going.
So first off, our Keys to Riches, for those of you who haven't joined us in a while, has now grown into its very own radio program. So you can access the Keys to Riches powered by Unlock Your Wealth Radio from our Unlock Your Wealth Radio website or its very own website at keys2riches.com. So you can go to all the back episodes as well and get your fill of our Keys to Riches. So if you want to get your money mind right, this is the way to do it with our financial philosophy. And Become a Voracious Reader is this week's key. And this is a critical key because as well as being our final key in the philosophy, and that's because this key ties it all together and says what we've done here with our financial philosophy is a foundation for you and a springboard for the rest of your financial success. And then you need to continue to read and continue to peruse and update what you know and start applying what it is that you know. And then you can start really building wealth. And so what you want to do is, now that you're armed and ready to take some action, take that action and then make corrections. That's the whole point of the 12th key. Review, revise, and recommit, is so that we need to get started before we know if we're going in the wrong direction. But you're armed with the information, and the key now is to continue to read and really build on that foundation you've established by learning all of the keys in our financial philosophy. Our Moolah word of the day is assimilation. And to have assimilation in the investment markets is the completed distribution of a new securities issued to the public. So assimilation occurs, you have, your private placement where you go to a few people to raise the money you need to make the public offering happen. And then you have the public offering or the IPO. And then once that has occurred and all of the shares have been distributed, you now have assimilation. So meaning your company and its shares of stock have been fully assimilated into the marketplace. But it's a pretty simple little word.
Yeah.
So we have a phenomenal guest, and I'm so excited to have him back. If you haven't heard any of our previous interviews, I would recommend highly that you go to our website at unlockyourwealthradio.com and search Dr. Joel Wade, because he is the most amazing man. He's one away from the master as far as I'm concerned, because he grew up and his whole desire to pursue psychology had to do with the great works of Dr. Nathaniel Brandon, who was Ayn Rand's protege in her Atlas years, and he helped to give objectivism its structure. Plus the work that he did in the self-esteem community, I think that Dr. Joel Wade's work in a happiness arena really complements that. And this is what he says: I see happiness, true happiness and well-being, not simply the happiness of feeling good in a lucky moment of pleasure, as a set of skills, a practice, and an attitude toward life that can be learned and applied within whatever circumstances you are in. Through my work as a life coach and a writer, I get to study and investigate and research the ideas that are fleshing out what really makes a difference in human life, what brings well-being, what grows happiness, and what contributes to a more benevolent and honorable world. The great joy of my working life is in helping others to master the skills of happiness so that they can find and pursue what is rewarding for them. And I couldn't have a better person to share my professional working life with and have as a returning guest here at Unlock Your Wealth Radio, and who will also be on the show live from Freedom Fest. And he will be speaking on Saturday. I'm speaking on Friday. We just got our schedules. And if you would like to attend Freedom Fest as a special guest of Unlock Your Wealth Radio listeners, get a discount. So when you go to register for Freedom Fest in Las Vegas, Nevada, and all you have to do is put in the code FF16UNLOCK. And that's FF16UNLOCK, and that's how you will get to go on a discount to Freedom Fest and watch myself as well as Dr. Joel Wade speak. We're also going to do some fun things by having people be a part of the show, and you can dictate or share with all of us live with our operations director, Carrie Cathy, who's going to be interviewing folks on what freedom and financial freedom means to them. And so if you want to be a part of our live broadcast, as well as our video phantasmagoria that we're going to be having while we're over there, just visit our booth in the Media Row. We'll be in Media Row broadcasting live all week. We would love for you to be a part of Unlock Your Wealth Radio. So let's have Dr. Joel Wade join us, because his master's course in happiness is what we're talking about, and he's joining us every month to talk about the new procedure or the process for this particular month. What is our focus for this month in our master's course on happiness? And Dr. Wade will be joining us to share with us exactly what it means for this month and what we're going to be working on to achieve happiness and to be a master of our own happiness. So, Dr. Wade, welcome to Unlock Your Wealth Radio. It's so great to have you back with us again.
Delightful to be here, as always.
So we're getting still closer to Freedom Fest. I'm so excited. It's going to be probably, next month now, huh? So, so we'll get to be in person. So we'll do that show live in July at Freedom Fest. So that'll be pretty exciting.
Yeah.
But we got to get there first. So we're not ready for that course yet because we have to get this month's course done. Now, last month, we had a really great conversation, and I actually had a moment of insight right on the air as we were talking about it. And I was, sitting there as the interview host does, and I'm mentally preparing. I'm listening in one ear, and then I'm thinking on the other side of my brain, okay, get the next question loaded up, be ready to go, and keep this interview moving. But you struck a chord with me, and it was really, really profound, and I was really excited about that, and it carried me for some time after, just thinking about what we talked about last week, or not last week, but last month. And our show, our topic was about the gifts that were given, correct?
Exactly. So
how does what we got last month affect what we're doing this month?
Well, this month, the next segment is about character, courage, and grit, the strength that we build. And so there's, last month we talked about, the gifts that we're given, the people that come into our lives, the opportunities that come to us through no action of our own. They're what we're born into, or people that we happen to meet or are fortunate to meet. And this month we're talking about, then what do you do with it? So last time I talked about Mr. James, my 8th grade math teacher, who came up to me and asked if I wanted to be he said, I think you should be in my more advanced class. So he's one of the people that I remember that believed in me and thought I could do better. And the other part of that equation, though, is that I said yes. So I don't know how, there was just something in me that said, this is an opportunity and I should take advantage of it. It was a more challenging class. It was harder work. I didn't have to do it, but for some reason I felt like, this is something that will be good for me. I'm going to take this action. And that's sort of the root of our character. It's not that I was born with a gene that made me choose that. It's based on all kinds of different experiences that we have, temperament, lots of different things. But when we have something that matters to us, and we think in terms of what do I need to do to make this happen, and then we follow through and do those things, that strengthens us. That builds our character. That builds our sense of our reputation with ourselves. Nathaniel Branden used to talk about self-esteem as the reputation we build with ourselves. Well, character is the reputation that we build with ourselves. We build a reputation with other people by following through on our actions, keeping our word, showing up, being kind or being mean or being, however we are, we develop a reputation for better or worse with other people. But the person that's always watching is ourselves. So if I am afraid to do something, but it really matters to me to do it, and I do it, I'm going to be a stronger person for it. If I don't do it, I'm going to feel disappointed. It'll form one of the regrets of my life. So what we do with our opportunities is crucial, and the habits that we develop around that are crucial as well. And a very simple way that I think about these things is when I'm faced with a situation where there's some action that I need to take, I could take action or not take action, I think, first of all, how will I feel about this tomorrow? So not immediately and not a year from now, but in the very short term, in the future, how will I feel about it? Will I feel good about it? Will I feel disappointed that I did this action or didn't do this action? So how will I feel about it tomorrow? And I always seek to be proud of what I did. Will I be proud of what I've done here? Is this an action that when I do it, I'll feel proud and good that I took this action? Or will it be better if I say no?
Yeah, I like that. It reminds me of a question that was shared with me a long time ago about, choice. And when you make choices and you make decisions and owning those things, the one question that I was always told to ask myself was, how do I want to be remembered?
Yeah.
And will this action or inaction I take right now, is this in line with how I want to be remembered? And if it's not, then that tells me what the answer to the decision I need to make. Because sometimes, we don't always know what to answer when a question is posed because we may not know, like, oh my gosh, there's a choice right here. But the answer becomes easy when you can kind of step outside of the immediate choice and have a way to draw back. At least that's how it worked for me.
Yeah, and then the other perspective to take with that, to add to bring that home, is how do I want to remember myself? Well,
and therein lies the biggest challenge, I think, because you and I were chatting offline last month about Freedom Fest, and I made the joke that I set the book launch party so I know I'd make the book.
Yeah.
And so that's good that I'm thinking in terms of I know how to outfox myself, but I'm still not. That still doesn't answer the question of my self-worth. Why am I willing to flake on myself easier or faster than other people?
Well, I think it's just more tangible. Another person's response is that's part of the gift of having people that will hold us accountable. or give us honest feedback about how we're affecting them, is it gives us an immediate, tangible response to bounce off of. It's a little more abstract to sort of hold that mirror up to ourselves. The interesting thing is there's been research done where the subjects are in a room, and when subjects are in a room with even a very small, inconspicuous mirror in the room, they behave better. They behave more in line with their own values.
Really?
And if there's no mirror in the room. It's not some great big mirror that they have to look at all the time. That there's a mirror in the room helps people to live with more integrity with their values. And so part of what we're talking about here is consciously bringing that mirror to yourself. What will make it so I'll feel proud of this choice that I have to make? How will I feel tomorrow if I make this choice this way, or if I make the other choice? That's a way of consciously bringing that mirror in, and it's just an extra step. But it takes consciousness and deliberate action to make that happen. So that's why it's a little harder to do for ourselves than having. And hopefully, we all have good people that are giving us great feedback and helping us find our way. But really, that internal feedback, if you can get that loop going real strong, there's nothing like it.
Mm-hmm. You are listening to Dr. Joel Wade on Unlock Your Wealth Radio. This segment of Unlock Your Wealth Radio is sponsored in part by KeepMyID.org, the only service that actually prevents identity theft. All others are just monitoring services. Put your credit on lockdown with their special offer for Unlock Your Wealth Radio listeners. Visit unlockyourwealthradio.com/keepmyid to enroll and protect your financial future right now. Remember to use promo code WAGS. So one of the things that you always talk about, Dr. Wade, that I really like, and it's just, I don't know, it's almost like it was a period piece, and it's something that you don't see anymore. And what makes me say that is because I was just watching a movie. I love the old movies and the black and whites, and True Grit was on. And you mentioned that this is about grit also, and character and grit. So can you just... You haven't seen that? No. Oh my gosh, you're old. You should know that.
John Wayne, right?
Yeah, John Wayne is in there, and then it's
John Voight.
And it's got who's that other guy? He's not
the other guy. It was the remake of it was with Jeff Bridges.
Right. Yeah. Oh, because I saw that one too. Because they had them kind of back to back.
You saw the remake?
But John Wayne did that movie with half a lung.
Wow.
Really? Was that when he was?
Yep.
Wow. That's amazing. Wow. I didn't know that. So we've got the character piece, but how does grit? What is grit, I should say first, and then how does it play into character and this month's part of what is grit connected to happiness?
Grit is perseverance and passion towards a goal through adversity and over time. So it's the quality that leads us to persevere, to keep going, to carry on even when things get real hard or even overwhelming. It's the capacity to find strength within us and follow through when we have an obligation or a goal or a dream or a vision of something that we want to accomplish or a responsibility to somebody else that we've promised. It's that quality of mental toughness, and it's one of the most precious qualities. It's much more important for success than IQ or really anything else. It's the fundamental ingredient to success.
I would say that my husband has grit because just about every one of his business ventures has had to overcome some exacerbated type of adversity. I mean, there's been some huge challenges where everybody's been against him. you know, and
Definitely got grit.
yeah, Michael's testifying to my husband's grit. He's had some significant personal and professional challenges, and to be able to just hang in there, you know, I mean, he gets up at 5 o'clock every day. He's out the door and in his office by 5:30. As a matter of fact, just today, one of his friends said, "Hey, get Fred on the phone," and his secretary said, "Do you know what time it is in Arizona? He won't be up." And he goes, "I'll bet you $1 million he'll be up and answer the phone." And sure enough, he did.
Beautiful.
Yeah, you know.
That's it.
So
that's the secret.
So how does toughness and happiness coincide?
Well, it's okay. Happiness is more than just feeling good about yourself in the moment. That's sort of the appetizer or the dessert element to happiness.
Okay.
But happiness, as I talk about it, is really about being happy about your life. It's a fundamental quality of satisfaction and joy in living. It's about success at being human. The term that Aristotle used for this was eudaimonia, which is a quality of sort of deep, rich, conscious, earned happiness. And so I think with that definition, you can see how grit has everything to do with happiness. Think of the things that you're most proud of. When you look back on things that you've accomplished in your life, or relationships that you've cultivated and you know, grown and nurtured, or you know, the best memories of your life, the most satisfying chapters of your life, I'll bet you grit had a lot to do with it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, because, you know, for some reason, if I was to, I always like to ask this question of people, especially people that are extremely successful, you know, because it kind of gives you insight into how they see themselves or how they think others see them. And if I had one word to describe myself, I always use the term resilient.
Yeah.
So that means I must have grit then, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yay!
Yeah, grit is resilience in action over time.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know how to do anything else but bounce back, you know. And if somebody tells me no, then I'm just gonna try that much harder, you know, and I'm gonna prove you wrong. It's almost if I don't have resistance, then I'm like, is this even worth it? Because I don't have this.
That you are like that.
Yeah. Do I want to fight for this? If Michael totally knows me.
No, exactly. You've always said, no, come on, fight back.
Yeah, fight back.
Because I'll just say,
a win isn't worth it if somebody lays down. I'm like, whatever. I don't want to win that way.
Whatever.
Yeah. and I think, you know, I hear in your voice that's a lot of fun.
Well, yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah.
And see, here's the thing. There's a different. Grit isn't something that you're just born with. It's really something that you earn, and there are certain things that you can do to grow more grit, to make grit more accessible to yourself. And I talk about this in depth in my course, but it has a lot to do with your mindset. So if you have a mindset where really everything is fixed already, and you know it's just about your genes or your talent or something like that, then you're going to find it really hard to have much grit, because any challenge is a threat.
Yeah.
If everyone's always told you're brilliant, and you have a test to take, the very best you can do is the status quo. And so what's the benefit in taking the test? The worst that can happen is you fail it and your self-concept is shattered. And who wants that? So if the greatest element in growing and developing our own grit has to do with the mindset, so that you see problems as opportunities. and you see the challenges of life as opportunities to grow and learn and deepen and enrich in your life and your skills. And that's called a growth mindset. And it's something that you can cultivate and practice and learn how to do.
You're making me think of a concept that is kind of prevalent among a lot of millennials as a generation. And that's that from the helicopter moms, the learned helplessness.
Yes. Yeah, but but they're learning helplessness because they're led to expect. It's sort of an entitled helplessness. It's a helplessness of entitlement. Okay. I'm the most precious, brilliant creature on earth. So, and that's what's going to happen. I have one of my nephews has a son who's a little guy in Montessori, and they have a friend. He has a friend whose parents already have him scheduled to go to Harvard.
Whether you want to or not.
They don't even know him yet. He's 3, and he's going to Harvard. Well, what if he doesn't want? What if he wants to be a mechanic? What if he wants? What if he's a musician and doesn't even? There's a million different paths he could take that have nothing to do with going to Harvard.
He could be a Harvard-trained auto mechanic.
He could. So it's that kind of sort of pre-programmed thing that it thwarts self-exploration and the joy you described. When you said somebody says I can't do it, well, there's a fight to you, but it's a fun fight.
Oh yeah.
Right? It's okay. This is going to be a good game here, and I'm going to win it. And it's like it's a challenge, and it's fun, and that's the spirit that you want to have. That's the spirit that cultivates that sense of grit.
Yeah, and I think that I become more invested in the process in that situation. And if I do lose for whatever reason, which usually doesn't happen because I am fabulous, or at least that's what I keep telling myself. If I do lose, then I'll know that I did everything I possibly could and still lost. So there's still room for me to expand. There might be something else I need to learn before I'm really, really ready to achieve that. But at least I know I've got that information now. Had I not stood up to fight to begin with, and if I just would have laid down and let whatever happen, then I think that I'm richer for that experience. And
exactly, yeah.
So
and you are.
Well, I'm so glad you were on today's show. I can't believe we're already at the end of our show here. So if folks want, I know. Well, because it's us having fun. That's why.
Yeah.
It's not like getting lost in Sleepy Hollow in in a new moon in New Hampshire, but it's scary no man's land where we got lost that time. But it's still good fun. It's still great fun. So if folks want to sign up for the Master's Course in Happiness, how do they find you?
Well, they can find me on your website. There's a link to with actually a very good price. It's a discounted price on your website. They can also find me and all of my stuff on at drjoelwade.com is my website. And all my information is there. I have other products, and I'm also available. I work with people around the world as a life coach via Skype or phone. So I love helping people find their way. Outstanding. Their own personal way.
Thank you so much for being a part of today's show, and we will see you live next month in July at Freedom Fest, as well as on the air. And for those of you who are driving around without a pencil, never fear. UnlockYourWealthRadio.com is here where you can visit Dr. Wade's show page and get all the linky links for his life coaching, his Master's Course in Happiness, and so much more. And for more in-depth interviews with money experts, strategies, and members-only tools to fix your credit, get out of debt, and have more money and happiness, do what others our savvy listeners have, and visit unlockyourwealthradio.com, where you go to get your money mind right so your wealth and happiness will follow. Become an Insiders Club member today and start receiving the benefits of millionaire wisdom right now. For Unlock Your Wealth Radio and the maestro of Moolah, Michael Terry, I'm Heather Wagenhals. Now go out and unlock your wealth today.
UnlockYourWealthRadio.com is produced by Heather Wagenhals and the Unlock Your Wealth Foundation. UnlockYourWealthRadio.com and its affiliates are copyrighted 2016 with all rights reserved. For more information on the Keys to Riches Financial Wellness Series, please visit our website at www.unlockyourwealth.com.